All right, welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're running a small or medium-sized business, you know the daily chaos of collaboration. It's just a given, right? Well, today we're going to open up the playbook on how Microsoft 365 can actually turn all that chaos into your biggest competitive advantage. Okay, so let's dive right in by talking about a challenge that, well, it probably feels a little too familiar. For so many small and medium-sized businesses, SMBs, right? The daily grind feels like this constant battle. You've got scattered information everywhere, clunky processes that just slow you down, and that nagging worry in the back of your mind. Is our data actually secure? Does any of that sound familiar? I bet it does. Look, these aren't just little headaches. They're anchors. They are literally weighing down your productivity and making it almost impossible to scale your business the way you want to. But what if, just what if, you could flip that script? What if you could turn those daily pains into powerful, repeatable wins? Well, let's look at the solution. And it's all about creating a single, central digital headquarters for your entire team. The core idea here is actually really simple. Stop jumping between a dozen different apps. This is all about creating one cohesive ecosystem where your work can just flow. From a quick chat to a final document, all without ever having to leave the platform. So think of these three tools as the foundation of your new digital office, okay? Microsoft Teams, that's your main conference room. It's the water cooler. It's where all the real-time communication happens. Then you've got SharePoint. Think of that as the central, super secure file cabinet for all your official company documents. And OneDrive? Well, that's your personal desk drawer. It's for your own files, and you can get to them from anywhere. Okay, so the vision is crystal clear, right? But how do you actually get from the chaos you're in today to that level of clarity? That's the big question. Well, here's the playbook. This is what takes you from just a plan to real action. And listen, this is not about flipping a switch overnight. That's not how this works. It's a strategic 5-step process, and it's designed to guide you from that initial discovery and planning phase all the way through to adoption and, importantly, continuous improvement. And to make that 5-step process super concrete, here are the exact items you can literally check off a list. I want you to think of this as your ground-level project plan, the kind of plan that makes sure your rollout doesn't miss any of those critical little details. But wait, before you even think about starting that checklist, you've got to get your strategy right. And really, it all boils down to asking yourself and your team three surprisingly powerful questions that are going to set your entire direction. So, question 1, where does our communication actually break down? Seriously, are you losing key info in those endless back and forth email chains? Is your marketing team on one chat app while the sales team is on a completely different one? Pinpointing exactly where things fall apart, that is the absolute most essential first step. Question 2, are our existing tools helping or are they hurting our productivity? And you got to be honest here. Is that quote-unquote free file sharing tool you're using really secure enough for sensitive client data? Is switching between 5 different apps just to get one simple thing done actually efficient? Posing this question, it forces you to make some tough decisions about what to keep and what to replace. And question 3, how can we start small? Like with a pilot team, just to gather some feedback? Look, trying to change everything all at once is just a recipe for disaster. Total disruption. Instead, why not start with just one team? A pilot program lets you work out all the kinks, get real feedback from your people, and build a success story. And that success story, that's what creates the momentum you need for a full company-wide launch. Okay, so theory is great and all, but what about the real world, right? Let's look at the proof. Let's talk tangible results from businesses, probably just like yours, that have already made this exact shift. First up, we have Innovate Tech Solutions. They're a tech startup, and they were really struggling. Their big problem was keeping all their fast-moving projects on schedule, especially with different teams all trying to coordinate. So what happened? By bringing everything into one central hub, they saw a 25% increase in project delivery efficiency. Now, for a fast-moving startup, 25% isn't just a number on a slide. That's a massive, massive competitive advantage. All right, next up, let's look at a completely different industry. We're talking about a retail chain, Freshmart Grocers. And their big challenge was needing to speed up communication across all of their many, many store locations. And the result? They boosted their communication speed by 50%. They basically cut their communication delays in half. And think about what that means. Faster inventory updates, quicker responses to store issues, and just smoother day-to-day operations across the entire chain. That's huge. And for our last example, take a legal firm like Apex Legal Advisors. For them, speed was important, sure, but it was secondary to security. SharePoint gave them that compliant, totally locked down environment they absolutely needed to handle sensitive client documents with complete and total confidence. Okay, so you've seen the problem, we've walked through the solution, and you've seen the proof. The only real question left is, what's the right next move for your business? So here you go. 3 concrete actions you can take, like this week, to get the ball rolling. And it all starts with something simple. Getting the right people in a room and just mapping out your very first steps. And that right there, that's the real takeaway. This whole thing isn't just about a tech upgrade to solve today's little headaches. No way. It's about building a truly scalable foundation so that your team can grow and adapt and thrive well into the future.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Thanks for joining us for The Explainer.